Welcome back, audience. Hope you're doing good. Cheers. And today we're going to talk about a very cheerful subject: the pain. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because it's not supposed to be a sad subject in the first place. If you figured this one out, everything becomes much easier. And there are three types of pain. You have like the heart, the soul, the mind, and the body. You have three types of pain. And everything is run by this system, by pain pleasure response. I mean, do you understand how big this is? Like if someone is, for example, acting in the motion of ego, which is the motion away from pain towards the solution of it in their heart, then what happens? What happens that you go away from pain towards pleasure, doesn't it? And so anything that is programmed to be pleasurable, that's where you're gonna go, right? If you're acting in that motion. So of course the first order of business is to figure out this pain pleasure situation. Okay. And there are there are and there is a growing pain, and then there is the damage pain. Okay, for example, like in the body when you exercise, right? That is a type of pain that you're incurring, and any kind of exertion, physical exertion, it's a type of pain. I mean, you can even feel it, like the muscles start getting sore, or you feel that burn in the solar plexus. And so you see, like, to move through space-time costs this pain thing, right? But we have to move. That's what keeps our body functioning well, and that's because it's regenerating, and that's because it's the growth pain. So the growth pain. And then what happens after you exercise? And first of all, you can learn to enjoy that type of physical exertion, and then after, you get all sorts of endorphins released, and the massage feels like heaven and things like that. So and there's also the damaging pain, the pain that means that damage has occurred, right? So that's, you don't want that, right? You don't want that damaging type of pain. And that's why it's like you have to know in the body what is the growing pain and what is the damaging pain, right? And so you find that out. And if you make sure that your body is moving through space-time, you're gonna be fine. Your body's gonna be fine, and how intense you're moving through space-time, it depends, like what kind of exercise you want to do. But you can choose it every day to go intense in your body. And by the way, this is like the state of consciousness as well. It is when the when the background of consciousness is at the high frequency. Okay, because for example, if you're not moving through space-time, then then you're not exerting that type of energy, right? You're not moving through space-time. Pain. Right, but sometimes you can move towards like the higher intensity. So there's some people move at the high intensity and some people at the lower intensity. I like to go high intensity sometimes, like maybe 2-3 times a week. My type of style is that I'm gonna go to my body a lot, like 3 times a week, and then I'm gonna go um, to that pain zone and enjoy it. So that's like the body, right? And it keeps the body healthy. People talking about all sorts of freaking looks maxing, schmaxing, and all these other nonsenses and stuff like that. Dude, you wanna look like a man? Face that pain, that growing pain every day, whatever it may be. Like it may be doing martial arts, doing gym and whatnot. The point is that you're gonna face that thing, that that pain, and are you gonna go into the fire or not, right? And if you regularly go into the fire, depending how deep into the fire you go, the more masculine your features are going to be, and that's it. It's natural. You don't have to imitate it. You see what I'm trying to say? Just be a man and you're gonna look like one. But all of this looks maxing thing is just like they just want to look like a man, but what about being a man? What do you think, that the face is not a reflection of your heart? And so if you do this, all this does not matter what kind of shit you do with your face. It may look more masculine, but you're still not a man. Just because you look like one, it does not make you into one, right? So this is why you have like in the Matrix, things are wrong. They don't mean what they look, right? Usually like breasts and round ass means fertility. It means a fertile female. But now it not may mean that at all. The opposite may be true, right? So you have to look for the natural. If somebody's augmenting their look through outside and not from the inside, then I don't know. The exercise is healthy. Exercise is natural, and that augments your looks sufficiently, but it means something. It means that you're physically active and fit man, and then you face the shit every day. That's what it means, and that's why you look like that, right? So, right, like this. That's how the system works already. Why fake it? I don't understand why fake it. Um, really, why fake it? It's like, what, do you not know that when I was growing up, that's like among us teenagers and even kids. I mean, I started doing judo when I was 8 years old. That going into that fire was the thing. Like most of the people from my childhood, they knew about that it is about that. That's where the toughness comes from. That's where the fighter's fortitude comes from, and so the competition was like who can be more into the fire, right? But of course you cannot burn yourself out, and some people go way too much and then they lose themselves in it, right? Like some of the popular redundant athletes, they're doing sports for the sake of just doing it, but there's no. Anyway, you see what I'm trying to say? It's just too much. Never go full retard. As one great philosopher once said. Yeah, I think he said, like, you went full retard. Never go full retard. You never go full retards. Period. So you have to know. And that was like what controls your anger. That's what transmutes your anger. So that masculinity was very clear. It was always about facing the thing that is uncomfortable and making it comfortable. I mean, again, I'm not saying anything new, but even the ideas that I'm sharing, they're not really my ideas. Like, I mean, at this point in my life, like I realized that there's no like a personal me that is, you know, there is no like personal me. It's an illusion that there is. It's an awesome illusion, but that's what I'm trying to say. Because all that information is like in the cloud, you know. There's no such thing as like some sort of information that is not existing in the entire cloud, right? Just like if you think of the most awesome internet that could exist, then that's what it is, you know. So it's just using your consciousness like using internet. Nobody owns the ideas. It's like, because if you can access it, then it's yours, right? Yes, some of us like what is available for download depends on the alchemy, for example. What is available for download, and this is why you don't have to change people's minds. Like, I mean, you can talk, but it's just like for fun. You know what? You know what happens when you talk about something and you enjoy that type of thinking, that type of ideas becomes more prevalent in your reality. I mean, the entire reality, because your reality is the entire reality. I mean, it will never be something that is not your reality. Think about that for 1 second, you know. It's always going to be your reality, and in that entire reality appears to be real because it's like a film reel. It's put all together, stitched together, right? And so then you assume that like, oh, you know, that's how the world works. But that was just your story put together. You see. But yeah, but that's why it's cool to enjoy, to be being at the edge of life. And that becomes more prevalent. Other people start doing that too, right? That's why the best thing that you can do for other people is just be an example. I mean, again, I'm not saying anything new. I'm just saying something that's true. You know? Geez, you know. So yeah, so that's physical pain. But check this out. I said there's 3. So what about the mind? We still have the heart, the soul, but the mind. What do you know? It operates in the same way. And so where are you moving in your mind? Okay, that's the good question, because now mind also can experience discomfort. But what does the mind want? Mind wants the desired images. Mind wants the image that is desired. Right? So now check this out. You can say image that is desired. So that pain could be addressed in both directions now. Could it be a growing pain? Okay. Or it could be the damaging pain. Okay. And that's what your mind does. It has, let's say, the negative image, and then works, and you can work real hard to create a positive one. But, and even if you do this, there's something wrong about that. Okay, this is why I said, like, when if you do this, it's not the real love. Like, I was looking at it, it's like looking at my own consciousness, which is everybody's consciousness. I mean, fuck, like at this point, like we have to figure out of how to live with this reality that how to say it, with this reality that there's one consciousness, right? And to reconcile those two things, the feeling, which is you can be connected with everything, and then sensation, which is you're separate. And if you can live between those and that liminal space, in a feeling you're never separate, and the sensations you always are, and so you get like that really ecstatic way of life. There's that point where everything is aligned, you see, and it's in that point exactly in the liminal space between feelings and sensations. And the images appear magical, because what kind of image is going to appear when you feel ecstatic? Nice ones, right? So that's what you do in the mind. You don't just avoid those negative thoughts, these images, and just go into the positive ones, because we already said that that's just pacification, right? What you do want is you actually want to go to that image, that negative image, which has that connotation of it being negative and painful, and you zero it out. So you see, the mind can guide you to the point that you need to alchemize. A mind can guide you to the point which you need to alchemize. Because sometimes people may say like, oh, my life is amazing, everything's going great. But everything is not going great. It's just everything is sort of like playing this whack-a-mole game, stitched together backwards, right? You can find this type of unstable equilibrium in the matrix, but you're not doing fine, you know. You may be in, like, what you have to compare it to. You may be afraid to admit that or whatever. You're doing fine is not the way it looks. So anyway, what I'm trying to say, fine. The word fine means elegant, harmonic, and that's what we're talking about. Harmony. Right. So your mind always wants to create desired images. Okay. And so, for example, if you still have that, you have not looked at it, right? Because people call it traumas and wounds and things like that. I don't call it that like that, because they're not. They're definitely not. They're just fragments that were already there, and as soon as you come in this reality with that fragment in your heart, you will experience that negative event, because that fragment in your heart creating some sort of separation, and your mind is generating the stories of separation, right? And so now you end up living that story of separation. It's a separation of somebody's like abusing you, somebody is abandoning you, and things like that, right? So you're going to keep on playing that story over and over again unless you go there. you know. So and sometimes that image, that idea, um, brings so much pain. Like it usually, the image is like somebody that you love, um, are like completely, somebody that you love. It's like very like separated from you. For example, being with like somebody else. That's the image. That's the story that you create from the separation in your heart. The mind is going to create a separation story. And when it's creating the separation stories, then the mind has to work overtime, and now it has to keep on pacifying uh, these, distortions, these fragments, with some sort of pleasant uh, images or sexual images, right? And when you're pacifying that with sexual images, but you're not going through the heart, that's when you enter into that dark loop. That's the thing about sex. That, as you can see, it has to come from the heart. If there's no, if it's not coming from the heart, it's not worth it. It is not worth it. It is just gonna um, exacerbate the damaging pain, right? This is what's going to be doing. It's just going to be the pain that begins to damage you, not a growing pain, because you went the wrong direction. So that's why the some of it at the right is a growing pain. If you go too much, um, if you're not ready to handle it, I have to say, like, if you're not ready to handle it and it comes over you too much, then what? Then what happens? You get hurt, and after you get hurt, you don't want to go back there, right? So you may be reluctant because it was too much, right? But I guess this is what happens anyway in the story. It's not like you can control that. It's just gonna happen. Something's gonna highlight. You're gonna go through life and something's gonna happen where it's just like ultimate betrayal, and it's just like the most deepest pain that you can feel. And then you deal with it. What else can I say? Like, is there a better way? But when I say deal with it, it's not like you don't have any tools. Like that 0 point can handle anything, and it's always available here. So at least you begin living in the right direction. You can feel it, you see, like when you go through the heart, for example, right now, I can feel it in my heart. That type of pain. But I'm placing my attention there. And what I feel instead is like this warmth emanating. And it's this illumination. It's like exactly the way it wants to be. You're not trying to change it. And right now it wants to be super, super still and quiet. Even outside right now, I can see that not a movement on the trees. So all I did is just tune to what's going on right now, so I'm not out of tune. So sometimes there are moments to be in the complete and total quiet and silence, even if you're with somebody. Because in that moment when you don't talk, you can have your hearts talking, doing the talking. And hearts will work thing out all the time. It has its own intelligence. This is the only thing that I trust, that intelligence of the heart, because it knows exactly how to be with anybody and everybody. And then if you live like that, then interesting thing happens. Wow, like I'm completely blanking out. Yum yum. Yeah. So when you live in this direction, things starting to change, and it's not easy to remain on your golden throne, of course, because it's like you have so much work to do. You have to decode all of these things that happen to you in your life, right? And this is what it been seem like I've been doing it lately. But you know what I feel like I'm getting all of these seeds, but um, I feel like I'm not using them yet. I feel like right now it's about just completely go all the way and uh, basically live at that last edge of fragment. You want to live at that uh, ultimate fragment, which is a half. This is what people call it, like a twin flame. It is basically the state of consciousness that you live in. Okay, sometimes people call mona because it's just like mono, duo and mono en uno, duo y mono en uno. That's what I mean. That would be my tattoo for today. Duo, mono, uno. Anyway, so what does that mean? That means that your basis of consciousness is there. You live from that point. That's all it means. But you went there through just, you know, alchemizing everything that comes your way, basically. And I have to say that it seems that this last wound, as people call it, which is of course just a split between yin and yang, I have to say something. That one never heals, because that would be the end of everything. It's always in the flux of splitting, connecting, splitting, connecting, splitting. It's in that high frequency flux. And so there, if you live in there, you do feel like your chest is kind of glowing, warm glow. The senses are very, very acute and aware. It does have that little DMT quality to it. And you do understand what the spirit is, not just that word. And perhaps before that, there was just like an image that you attached to the word spirit. That's not what it is. But you get to feel it. You get to feel it like, oh, that's what spirit means. It's this absolutely slow presence. Maybe it's dancing a little bit. It's slow. And that is the pulse of life. Pulsing between that peace and bliss kind of thing. And it creates this infinity state. Well, so that, you know. Then you know what ether means because you start feeling it flowing. And it's this sort of like a very electric feeling that is very ecstatic and electric feeling goes through your body. And then you're like, fuck, you feel the ether like, also very trippy. But clean. It's very clean. It's not like it's not drug-like. It's very clean. Like even right now, when I say like a DMT-like state, it has the DMT-like state quality totally. But there's no distortions or anything like that. It feels that whatever I'm watching is the DMT realm. You know. In the way it is, it's just folded many more times over. And that is when your eye is way, 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 way back into the background. Right? And notice that you have a background in the foreground. And sometimes life will call you and say, just sit back into the background. Just sit back into the background, that peace. And it's just sit back into the background. And it starts doing its thing. Right? And then there is this little type of beginning of the enjoyment of what is. Does that make sense? Then that's where you don't need to convince yourself that here is the place to be. It's like the center of the hurricane. You enter the center of the hurricane, so to speak. You are in that void, in the eye. There's emotion around you, but you are in the complete silence. And there is that enjoyment sort of turned on. That's the way I am experiencing. It's like, oh yeah, let's be here. This is good. There's no waiting, no searching, no seeking. It's like, oh, this is fucking good. It's just like enjoying a good fucking drug. It's like, let's just enjoy the feeling of this drug. You know, of course, it's not a drug, but it's your soma. It's your natural psychedelic. And there is that last dip that I can still feel it. That there's this, um, you can call it like a last doubt. So unless we can be here all the time, and this is the best place to be, and then the mind says like, nah, maybe we gotta worry about other things, but it's not true. You don't have to worry about other things. You can just go and say prioritize this. This is like, okay, so this is the most important thing. Does not mean that you keep trying to go there. That's another type of seeking. It is really a sort of fine-tuning calibration of your consciousness. But of course, you're going the right way. At least it's not some, whatever meditation that is just pacify the mind. That is, again, if done in the mind, it's a pleasure seeking, right? So you don't want that. You can go directly through it, and then you rely upon it, and it's like, okay, so if I feel this stillness, what the stillness is and whatnot, because it's not like you are ideally perfectly into that stillness. You just connect the background to the foreground, and then you realize that you're not only the things that it's projecting, but the fabric of it as well. So it's not like you're just the fabric at this point, but you're always this fabric and what it makes it, and what it makes, I mean, right? And so that's what it is. If you only focus on that, which is it is a type of complete turning off, and no objective and subjective, and they all like blur in. And that does happen on that um in that expanse. And so yeah, there's this what people may call unity, but it is a type of, if the first feeling would be like peace and bliss, and when it goes before that, even that happens. So that's what it is, right? So I think it's nice to always be connected to that way, and to be connected to that is always to make sure that your foreground and the background is connected at some level in your consciousness, you see. And then you play the game. Then you may use your mind. Now that you have all of these feelings in your heart, what you're gonna do with them, right? What you're gonna create. And so then now the pictures, now whatever the picture you create is going to be imbued with that coherent feeling. And when it comes to you, it's going to have love with it. It's not going to just be pleasurable for a moment and then lead you into the bigger pain. Okay? This is beating a little too hard. Okay? What else can I say about this? I have 4 minutes left. 3 minutes. I don't feel like I'm done talking. Because I'm just exploring it, and I hope that you're doing it with me and you are feeling it all that, whatever I'm saying. You know. So yeah, so we're talking about now coming back into the mind and creating these beautiful images that are imprinted with that real love energy, love and light energy. And the thing is that it does have that clean ecstasy and that enjoyment, not a pleasure, which enjoyment is better than the pleasure. Enjoyment is way better than the pleasure. Do you understand? Pleasure is such a one-sided thing. The thing is because in enjoyment, you have pleasure plus that other thing that you can call love, and so you have that real deal. And this, and unless it's that, the cycle is going to continue. Pain and pleasure cycle. Yeah, and we are in this time right now. It's such an interesting time because you see that a lot of people are programmed to do really good, be really good at manifesting from pain, and that's why you see like this is like everybody's almost psychotic. You can feel that there is a psychosis there going on, and it's not genuine expression of self. That success is very psychotic, it's not real. And so but they do it, they can't help it because it's a program. It's programmed. That image of you having followers or whatever leads you to a lot of dopamine hits. It's been programmed that it is so. It's not intrinsically so, it's just programmed to you that is so. Because think about it, like, why would the numbers on the screen matter to you unless it's programmed? So I'm gonna see you in the next part because I have a lot more in my tank than this. Okay, see you in the next one. Peace.